Benny, back to you, Benny.
Yes, back to me. Well, thank you so very much, Namat Salzman-Dror, for moderating the session, and to Gary Tattersall and Stefan Laban for joining us. Welcome also to those of you who joined after we started our virtual overview of the Israeli retail tech landscape of 2020. We have about 200 participants, I believe, at the moment from over 20 countries. So it's fantastic. Thank you so very much for joining us. We're moving on now to the shelf monitoring and stock management category. Well, shelf monitoring technologies are critical in preventing out of stocks and key in driving greater efficiencies and effectiveness for consumer goods companies. Joining us to further explore this category is, again, Manik Bhatia from Coresight, India, Shlomi Dayan, VP of Global Retail and Business Development at Trax Retail, and Shufersal COO, David Laron. Take it away, guys.
Good to be with you.
Thank you for the introduction, Ben.
Sure.
And before Shlomi begins with his presentation, I would just like to give up on some stats here. Coresight Research conducted a survey in fall 2019 for 200 grocery retail decision makers across 4 geographies, which were US, UK, Germany, and Australia. And we discovered that 51% of the grocery retailers mentioned that they lost 5 to 10% of their sales to poor in-store operations, while over a quarter said that they lost 10 to 15% of their overall sales to in-store issues. So with this, I would like to hand it over to Shlomi, who would take us through the solution Trax.
Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you. So we have just 5 minutes, so we'll do it very quickly and share a little bit about Trax and what we are doing. A quick overview about Trax company. Trax founded in 2010. Our value is more than 2 billion already. We're working in 60 different markets. We have around 800 employees. Overall investment in Trax is more than 350 million. We based in Israel, in Tel Aviv, our central in the R&D center. So about the technology, most of the retailers know exactly what's going on the distribution, and they know exactly what's going on the self-checkout and point of sale, but they're really missing a very important part, that what is actually happening on the shelf. And this is exactly the issue that we are, or actually the challenge that we are focusing on, and we are helping those retailers to understand exactly what's going on the shelf in real time. So which kind of KPIs actually we are providing them? It's different KPIs that mainly help them to improve availability. But not just that, to understand exactly what is for example, how many products are missing from shelf, what is the exact position of every product, what is the right pricing, if they executed correctly the planograms, and many, many other parameters that relate it actually to the digitation, the physical digitation of the shelves. Once we are introducing our core technologies that related to image recognition, many of grocery retailers asking what I can do with it and what will be the exact steps that they need to take. So we divide it into 3 major steps. And we see, based on our experience with many very important and tier 1 retailers, and also, of course, with Shufersal, that the immediate needs to this kind of technology is referring to store routine or to store operation, meaning how to automate gap scanning, how to increase availability, how to optimize inventory level, how to verify the right execution of the planogram. This is actually, I will say, the first immediate steps that most of the retailers are interested to do. The second phase are actually the steps that they are taking are more related to the forecasting, to improve online ordering. And further on, we see a very big interest to create and to shape up the customer experience that's related to checkout, as we call it, the Amazon Go approach and so on. And this technology also can help in this kind of a domain. just to elaborate a little bit about how we're doing that and which kind of a collection method we are using. So we're using robotics, we're using edge cameras that actually allocate underneath the shelf based on batteries, no wires. And we're also using domes cameras that on the ceiling. So you can see all those different infrastructures, capabilities, cameras that we're implementing. Again, with top-tier retailers that are using this kind of infrastructure. And again, it really depends on the size of the stores. It really depends on the layout of the stores and many other parameters that are relevant. Just to give you a glance how we see those kind of a digitation taking place, you can see over here, for example, a whole aisle of coffee categories. And how does we stitch those images that we are taking together, and we're creating a whole image. And once we stitch those images together and we see the entire shelf, we can start immediately recognize the exact position, the exact location, the exact SKU, and actually monitor and verify that we can understand the behavior of every SKU or the entire actually category end to end. So we're not just doing that in one position or one area on the store, we're actually doing it when we're covering the entire store. So another nice example of a coffee category, for example, that we are looking at, and we see, for example, over here, a few products, or actually many products that are out of shelf, we are sending an alert to the store associate. The store associate immediately approach that, and we can see afterwards a very nice process of replenish of those situations or issues that we have faced. And from a customer perspective, think about the situation that now we're getting into the store, we see that products are much more available, they are positioned in the right places, the planograms is executed correctly, the right pricing, the right promotions. And this is actually, as I mentioned, the immediate steps that is very critical and very necessary today in grocery, in retail. Just another example, a quick one, just to show you that how we also can measure the blocks and, for example, the percentage of private label in a very specific category. So over here in this specific year and this specific month, we see like 26% of share of shelf of private label in this specific category. And we compare that to all other CPGs or suppliers that actually present the goods in this specific category. You can see the list of every brand and every CPG. This is like a 26%, and following the year, how this kind of a private label share of shelf is actually reducing into 60%, and it's a little bit different. A very short clip that I want to share with you that is very authentic to actually the situation that's happening right now in Europe and in Israel as well. So actually what you can see over here is the behavior of the shelf and how products are actually available to the customer, how the customer is seeing them in a very specific milestone during the months of March, that every one of us was facing a quite impressive, I would say, situation or fast-pacing situation of availability of different products due to the coronavirus that happened. So yeah, this is just a kind of a quick glance of the situation, and I hope that it was very clear to everyone.
Thank you for the wonderful presentation, Shlomi. It was indeed very insightful. And I have a question. I think it applies to both David and Shlomi. So I've been thinking about category management, and it is one of the hot topics in the CPG industry right now, because it takes a lot of guesswork, and it takes a lot of predictive analytics insights, and still retailers and CPGs are falling short on those lines to meet the shopper centricity that is the ultimate goal. So in this context, how do you see this technology fill in the gap and help category managers to be more analytical and get insights into categories?
So yeah, first of all, once we call it eyes on shelf. Actually, once we digitize those shelf and we understand exactly the position of every product, we understand the exact experience that those customers are facing once they're getting into the store, and not just based on our inventory level that we think that's supposed to be inside the store. So what we see is actually what the customer experience, and this kind of an experience and actually a reflection that we're providing to those retailers based on the sales that they get, and they know what is actually happening in every time once the product is purchased. Of course, this can help them immediately to shape up the planograms, to shape up the order replenishment process, to verify that every product is available for the customer, and this kind of a way to provide a better experience again to the customer inside his journey inside the store.
If I may, in Shufersal, we work with the Trax for more than a year. Maybe it's already 2 years, Shlomi, right?
Yeah, indeed.
We are currently more focusing on shelf management on the operational side, but we do also some work with the category managers. There are lots of other tools of category management regarding data mining tools, BI, etc. We have in Shufersal enormous data on our customer from our club members. And this is one more tool which is valuable but still not fulfilled totally. I think we are more advanced in the operational issues that are regarding availability. One more issue regarding Shlomi show you the way the shelf was behaving along the whole month of March, and also during the 24 hours of a day. And looking on that, as a retailer, we found some very interesting conclusions regarding the way we plan the work of the store employees. And for example, if you see in some categories that are very important to you, that every morning or every evening is with a lot of out of stock, then you can change the way you plan the employees' time in accordance to the shelf behavior. And this is also something that had a huge impact both on efficiency as to customer experience.
Well, that's an interesting insight. And one more thing I would like to ask here, that as you've been working with Trax since over 2 years now, what are some of the key in-store issues that you have observed previously that are now resolved and are easy to deal with since partnership with Trax?
Well, looking on customer experience as a main criteria, availability, of course, is a main issue. Customers are looking, as we all know, they want to have this frictionless experience. They want to come, grab what they need, go out smoothly. And we do a lot of work with a lot of innovation, working with so many startups, mainly Israeli startups, to help this customer experience become really frictionless. So there is the cashiers, and there is the shelf, and there is the entrance to the store. For example, if you take the cart in the entrance to the store, you do it by a digital entrance. So we know when every customer is coming to our store, we know when he comes in, not only when he comes out from the cashier, we know when a customer comes in. Then we can track. Then also we have this solution of Trax on the shelf, and on the shelf, it's very clear and measurable that we improve our out-of-stock numbers by, I guess, roughly to say, is around 3% out of it, about, let's say, between 0.5% and to 1% is for sure increasing the shopping basket of the customer. So we do have
I'll have to stop there. I think we're running out of time here, but thank you